time. As you can see, almost all my mineral patches are gone already, and I've only been there a few moments. In fact, I haven't even had enough time to build a tech lab or a tech reactor and a unit. So here is the point where I'm about to go what I call the point of all in. I'm going to be loading up SCVs into my command center. I'm going to be flying with my starports, my barracks, and my factories and my command center to the top right corner. And from there, I will try and leapfrog, not really leapfrog, but try and do something that will allow me to, what's the word I'm looking for? Win. That's what I'm going to be going for, because I think that's what we're after. Getting some Vikings, because I will need them, like maybe up right here. Banshees would be decimated by a single scout, and I've gotten a few of them. So you definitely want to make sure you have at least half a dozen once you hit the point of no return. And actually, I believe I'm going to be moving to the 4th phase before I commit to the all-in part of the strategy. And I wish there was a better reproducible strategy that I could show you guys, but this was the only one I found where I could reproduce it to some result. It's a bit messy. It's one of my least favorite missions because I never like being put on a time schedule of my opponent. But you know, you gotta do it because this is the mission. And it's kind of hard to commentate on like mining, really. I'm building Banshees, I'm building Vikings, I'm mining minerals. Oh, yay! Running out of stuff to say, but I'm going to be taking my 4th up here, and it's actually really low on minerals. In fact, they give you a whole bunch of gas because I guess they feel bad for you, but at this point, gas is not what I'm starving for. It's really minerals. But be that in may, I'm going to spam my meal fly down and go ahead and start collecting them. And doing alright. Actually, it looks like production on the starport has kind of dwindled due to the lack of minerals, which is never favorable. So looking at this army, I think I might take a stab at this army before they act. Oh, and they have a detector of some sort, that's pretty good. So I'm going to try and whittle down this army before they actually are scripted to go ahead and start poking my base, although I might have accidentally encouraged the army to go ahead and attack before they were supposed to. But whatever the cause, it looks like I'm only losing meals, which unfortunately do a great job of harvesting, but at least it's better than an SCV, which I'll need later on, because I'm going to be flying to the top corner with my command centers, and then I'm going to be dropping SCVs out of that, so they can repair the Banshees, and I can kind of push my way out, and eventually take out the Protoss object that I'm looking at from the back door. And once I start committing, there was a save point, apparently I messed up. Once I start committing, I highly recommend you save every time you do something good. Like for instance, yay, I didn't lose everything really important to the next step of my plan. Save. Anytime you do something that you would like to do every time, save so you don't have to risk not doing it the next time. Pretty self-explanatory, but I really think a lot of people underutilize the save function. In fact, in the patch notes 1.1, they mentioned that you're going to be able to quick save. It's like Control Q or Shift Q or something like that. It's fantastic. Go ahead and do that every time, because you know, you can never save too often. I don't think you can do that. You can save at bad times, like, oh, here comes an attack. That's unfavorable, but you can always go back to the later save gate. But anyways, we have a fight coming in here. It's just a handful of Immortals and 2 Phoenix. So I was able to thwart that really easily. Apparently I botched my starport landing, but I'm gonna go ahead and drop, and I'll probably be making Banshees or Vikings, which is a given. Vikings, it looks like. And I agree with that, because you want to make sure you can dominate whatever is going to be attacking your air, and the Banshees can do that towards the ground. But the Banshees are important, and you want to make sure you have some surviving. So it's important to make sure that you will eventually win the air battle, which is why I need so many Vikings. At least half a dozen. I think I said probably half a dozen earlier, but I believe you'd want at least half a dozen, closer to probably 10 or maybe even 12. but I'm loading up my command center, so it looks like I'm about to commit to my my building march towards the victory. At this point, save. Like, for instance, I'm going to be flying over a fairly dangerous area with buildings, Vikings, and Banshees. I recommend you save if you ever get through there and like, oh, I made it out really good, you know, most of my buildings survived and my units. Go ahead and save so you can do that. Also, thing to note is later on I'll be repairing a lot of units, and make sure that you're careful about having auto repair on and off, because if you have it on, your SCVs may accidentally go ahead and getting a little last minute ambush here, and they send out a carrier, so I'm going to be able to tear this down. Ooh, Starstorm going down and doing a great deal of damage to the Vikings, which is unfavorable. For example, if you saved right before that attack came, you could avoid this embarrassing moment right here, and a delay, to be perfectly honest. But definitely want to save all the time. Can't emphasize that enough. So repairing, and then I'm about ready to go ahead and march on. I have a couple meals, and a fun thing you can use about meals, you can deploy them anywhere on the battlefield. So you can actually use them for an aggressive kind of thing, like if your Banshees and Vikings are getting hit while attacking, go ahead and drop meals underneath them, turn on auto repair, and, you know, make them last a little bit longer. Or on the ladder play, you can actually drop meals into a Terran bio ball, and if your Terran opponent has siege tanks, you'll actually shoot your meals and indirectly deal damage, and splash damage to its friendly units. So you can definitely go ahead and take advantage of that. But here I am, moving up to like my first little parking spot. Actually had a really good unit recovery rate. Most of my units made it through there, but there are a few air units that are attacking my Banshees and buildings. Hidden in this. Got my SCVs repairing, although they're repairing my command center, I definitely don't want to do that. I want them to repair Banshees and Vikings. And auto repair likes to prioritize buildings over units, which is unfavorable. But doing alright, and I'm going to be marching on very, very slowly from this point out. Definitely got to be careful, because at this point I'm limited on resources. I don't want to produce any more units, I just want to repair the units I have. So I'm really taking it careful. Definitely want to save at this point if you haven't already. Well, I should say, if you got through the Protoss base and you liked how events turned out, go ahead and save. But I do have a photon cannon picking on my command center, so I'm going to send in some Banshees, hopefully any day now, and take care of that problem. But as you can see, if you fly in this little area, you can do a kind of a backdoor march. I'm actually sending my barracks, factory, and starport into the Protoss base because I don't want them, I don't want my SCVs and wheels to accidentally repair them. And they've kind of served their purpose, which was basically to fly through that Protoss base on my initial push and take damage. So here I go and attack the Protoss cannon, and I decimated that, and now I need my Vikings to do the majority of the work. I want my Banshees to take the hits because I only need one Banshee to win the mission. I want to make sure my Vikings just barely do their job, and unfortunately I don't have nearly as many as I would like. But I am pushing through. I only have that cannon and that cannon to take care of, and a pylon around here, and I think that's pretty much it. I think once I knock that down, I can go ahead and float. And from there on, I think I have the numbers to go ahead and beat my opponent. I think I have enough energy to do the damage I need to before I run out of close. However, I am getting pelted. I did lose a ton of Banshees, but I think I'm going to be alright. Doing a little bit of shooting and scooting. We call that micro in high ladder games, and or really if you know anything about Starcraft. Although if you are new, don't worry about it because you got to learn sometime. But I'm trying to get my Banshees in a position where they can attack without prompting a response, or being in range of any cannon I may not be seeing, because at this point, it's a really close match. I want to make sure that I can just barely get by, which I know this isn't the cleanest match, or cleanest campaign video by any means, but it's the only one that seems to be fairly foolproof. It is based off of luck, but there are a lot of strategies that are based off of more luck. But here I am, and I'm whittling it down, and this may be frustrating. You may have to try it 2 or 3 times to get it right, but it does work the majority of the time, and if you save whenever you do something right, you'll make that journey so much easier. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope your luck is good, because you'll need a ton of it on this mission. So this has been Tyler for ShokzSC Starcraft 2 campaign commentary. good luck. Have fun.
Not enough pages.